Hello, folks. Welcome to Wednesday night Techthusiasm Live podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern. Back again. It's been 2 weeks since the last one. It's obviously, honestly, getting harder to do these week by week by week. So just kind of doing what I'm able to do. I am working on getting some guests lined up for future iterations, and there may not be a 2 week wait between the next episodes. I'm working on what will hopefully be a pretty fun and very informative and helpful special discussion for next week. So for this week, though, we'll just be chilling here. Got a couple topics that have been brewing. Share some feedback about kind of the state of the home theater and what's the outcome, I guess, of some of the changes and the additions and all that to the room over the last few weeks. Of course, there's been a lot of dust up about physical media, the state of physical media and where that's going and what's happening with that. So we can touch on those things potentially as well. And I've got a new debate that's, well, not a new debate, but let's say an existing debate that's raging wildly in my brain again with regards to the system and my systems, technically both, and how to use them and all that, kind of going into the release of Spider-Man 2 coming up. I've been sending texts this week to my same friends where I debate these very topics about PC versus PC versus console gaming, and particularly what that means for the theater. So just a bunch of musings. If anybody has questions, topics, items to bring up as well, feel free to do so in the comments as you're coming in. Give me a heads up. Let me know who's out there. Let me know if you're a newcomer. Let me know. Let me know all about you and let me know where you're from. And everybody, of course, all the regulars, welcome back. And let me know as well if you've done anything interesting in your entertainment spaces, your home theater spaces, since we last met in the last 2 weeks. Share what new gear are you picking up? Are you putting anything in? Any physical media converts out there buying into the Kaleidoscapes these last 2 weeks, or any of that kind of stuff? So a couple of quick shout outs. Julius, OG, Techthusiast number one. Welcome. My Home Theater. Hey, welcome. How's it going? Yeah, we need to talk, I think, some more offline. I wanted to reach out to you actually more because I thought that we were close together, or relatively close together in geography there. Bobby Johnson, how do you compare the AVM 90 to the Trinoff? Yeah, we'll talk about that for sure. And kind of my thoughts on the AVM 90. Hello to Wayne. Hello to Mia. Mia, of course, rocking that cool green name in the chat. She's one of the exclusive Techthusiasm channel members. So those memberships are available if anybody feels so inclined to kind of support the channel on a regular basis. Joining your favorite channels as a YouTube member is a good way to do that. I've been thinking about the Patreon. I think I will probably try to still put together. I was thinking originally for the fall, let's maybe make it a goal for 2023 to maybe get a Patreon kind of rocking in conjunction with the channel and see what we can do there. I just need to come up with some pretty interesting, I think, perks and make sure that they're valuable and useful, and that I can actually live up to any of the commitments and expectations and whatnot that come with the perks. So got a big old crew now joining in here. So say again, welcome again, Wednesday night Techthusiasm Live. Missed last week, so it's been 2 weeks since we last came together. I am working on a special episode looking towards next Wednesday night. I can say it's going to be all about Anthem. Some live, hopefully what I'm planning for anyway is basically a live Anthem arc, Anthem super calibration episode with a super special guest collaboration and all that. I want to deep dive into some of the elements. We're going to use my room as a case study and talk all about Anthem and Arc Genesis and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so what's been going on? So the SVS subs are in. They are configured and they are rocking. The AVM 90, of course, is in. I did my ARC calibration. I don't remember now how long it's been, but one of the weekends there, I think it might have been after the last podcast. I think the Sunday after the last podcast, I got in the room, ran the ARC and all of that stuff. I was thinking about changing up and actually engage with a few folks in the comments of some prior videos about it. Thinking about changing up the measurement scheme for the room, doing maybe multiple measurements where I would do one kind of tightly packed around the center seat in case I was in the room solo, and then maybe a 7 or a 9 point, really getting more of the entirety of the row. Just in the interest of time, though, at least for now, I opted not to do that in my last config. I did stick to a 5 point, but I did my MLP, of course, in the center of the row of chairs, and I did what I did before. I did the 2 and 3 positions at the chairs to my left and my right, and then I did kind of a down in front of the MLP and an up back both to the side a little bit of the MLP. Just stuck with that. My original config as well. I didn't push as much bass as I had been. I usually always just take the room gain all the way up to +6 and put a little more deep bass boost and stuff like that. And then I ended up going back and changing it. So definitely wanting to feel more bass. I think I like the feel of more bass pressure, more power in the room. And man, it's sounding great. My room is, I don't think it's ever been better. I agree with the sentiment now. Like, as long as you can integrate them, and I completely trust the Anthem Arc, uh, the Anthem device and Arc Genesis calibration to do the job, do the job well, and it's taking care of delays. It's taking care of phase integrations. I trust that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. But no substitute to having more subwoofers, evening out response, and just providing more of that like bass texture, that feel, that rumble, all of that um, in every piece of content, even the simple stuff like watching the Haunted Mansion movie and just the villain's voice at the end of the movie itself was impactful in a way that it hasn't been in my room before. So man, I'm digging it. I did do some PEQs in each of the subwoofers just to take down some of the. There's like this little um, peak in the very very low frequencies. I wanted to just kind of level that off a little bit, and then and then go from there. I'm sure I could do more. So I'm just really at the beginning, I think, of more advanced tweaking and calibration and stuff, and hopefully maybe even out of next week's live stream, come up with some more tips and tricks and things to tinker with. But so I've been down there to be able to do a little bit of content. Last Sunday or this past Sunday night, I did have a couple guys over. So Brian from Hi-Fi Home Theater Channel, and then another actually a Techthusiasm community member that I happened to discover lives in my city, in my town right here. We had been chatting, and I was hoping to have maybe a couple other folks over. It was really, really small, kind of a last minute, one of those rare evenings where I actually had nothing to do and I was home alone. Um, my wife was off with a friend doing something for the evening. My kids ended up both at a sleepover um, at the grandparents and stuff. So I'm like, well, heck, I'm going to invite some folks over. So unfortunately, I sent some invitations kind of late, and especially for a Sunday night with people working Monday, I wasn't expecting any. It wasn't any kind of big party or turnout or anything like that. And I was trying to keep it to a number of people that could fit, of course, in the seats in those revelations. So which is 4 people plus me. But anyway, we had two guys come over. We ran a bunch of demos, talked a bunch of home theater stuff, had some fun. Ready Player One demo, Baby Driver introduction, Gravity, scene where the satellites break up at the beginning of the movie. Geez, I don't remember. Oh, we did a Kong versus Godzilla, the battleship carrier fight when they're out at sea, and a couple other ones, basically jumping in and out of a bunch of demos with the Kaleidoscape, of course. We debated. I was debating that maybe we'd sit down and like watch a movie, but again, it's Sunday night, and I wasn't expecting people were going to stick around too late, and that anyway. So we were better off just kind of chilling, talking more, and doing demos. And so all thumbs up um, on the quality, the impactfulness, the feel, and all that of the room. So it's really rocking, and those new trims are doing the job. So right now I'm not hearing any more rattles. If I really really turn up the bass power, I can still overpower the room. But even running hot bass, heavy bass, with a nice tilt, high bass region tilt coming down in terms of the curves in the 90, and running up that bass power, at pretty solid movie listening levels. We were demoing probably up around 100 dB minus, what were we at? Minus 15 thereabouts on the Anthem's volume scale, where normally when a family movie, I'm lucky if we get it to like minus 25. So quite a bit louder than the normal family movie listening. If I'm watching by myself, I would say I'm probably somewhere around minus 20, probably rarely down to maybe minus 18. So we were going a little louder than that for the demos. And yeah, no rattles, no problems, nothing. So hopefully that recessed ceiling trim video from this past Monday is able to help a few folks out thinking about lighting plans. It was definitely a mistake to change to those looser trims that I did. Really, no reason to have done that originally, but now we're back to a more stable kind of functional trim, and I don't think I'll have to chase. I won't have to go chasing much more else down. I will say, oh, I'm gonna forget now. I think that out of the box, the SVS subwoofers are set to a minus 10 volume on the subs themselves, and I think I had to add another minus 14 in the room, basically getting the subs to measure in the Anthem quick measure sweeps at roughly 66 dB reported in the quick measure tool, while leaving a little bit of headroom for kind of those lower frequencies. So those things just they belt out bass. So what I'm going to do in the long run on the subwoofers is still kind of TBD. Of course, I'm going to make some content coming about the SVSs. I want to talk about kind of the more detailed review video, talk about the app, talk about some of the other capabilities in that. I think they're really nice. I think those Arndals are nice as well, but we'll see if I end up keeping these or trying to just commonize the room around the same, having four of the same unit, perhaps, as well as some other subwoofer engagement, contact, request for collaboration kind of uh, contact that I want to try to initiate here in the next couple weeks. We'll see where that one goes. So that's the subs. Super happy, and no matter what happens, like I don't think the Techthusiasm Theater will ever be less than 4 subs ever again. Um, so regardless whether the SVSs move on just as demo units or that I buy them and they stay, or whatever else happens, I think 4 subs is now my required minimum in that home theater. Still just 1 or 2 for the living room, but four definitely for the theater. On the 90 front, I'll kind of bury the lead a little bit for what my 90 take will be, and I know the hot question is like, how does it compare to the 70? Is it better than the 70? Is it worth the money? Should you go buy a 90? And so my initial take on that is I am very happy to have the 90 now. I think so one thing that I didn't do, and I'm not going to be able to do now is and it would have been incredibly hard anyway. I think with my setups, I have, I'm not set up for this like super kind of review channel, review space, A and B things, and swap things around very easily and quickly and test stuff out. I kind of have the theater that I use, right? The channel is more kind of about the experience and the evolution and the lifestyle, of playing around with this room and seeing what we can do with it. So having a direct 70 to 90 AB to answer that compelling question of like, how much better does it sound? In some direct way, I was never going to be able to do that. And by the time I had the 90 in, the 70 was already boxed and on its way to its new owner, regardless. So selling the 70 in order to fund the 90 is very much part and parcel of what I needed to do to make that happen. Just like I'm still have the Parasounds, the Halos available for sale, talking with folks here and there consistently, but nobody's kind of come out to specifically cut a deal and want to buy them. A lot of people telling me that, like that's a really great offer. Look, sounds awesome. Just can't do it right now, whatever. So that's fine, but I won't be able to make the amp swap that I'm intending until I have some kind of a confirmed buyer and some cash in hand out of those. So it's flipping one to get the other. So for the 7090, there was never going to be like a direct AB. And so I'm going off of acoustical memory. Of course, I think I myself and everybody, all of us are definitely influenced by our biases, right? We what we want to hear, and how we want things to be. So take what I say in some respects with a grain of salt there. Right? I spent more money to buy the more higher end unit. Of course, I want to be able to say that it was money well spent and it was better and whatnot. But I have to honestly say, like, I think the room sounds different in a way. It sounds better in a way that the 90 does something a little even more than the 70 was already doing really great. I've watched now some of the same demo scenes, and I just feel like I'm picking stuff up in a different way. And um, just the integration of everything, all of the audio, all the speakers, all the subwoofers. Of course, you can't do four subwoofers with the 70. So right away, if you're really serious about wanting not wanting to go to other calibration methods, right? Doing the mini DSPs and all that sort of stuff, and you're going to do four subwoofers, and you're debating this decision, and you've got the money to choose either one. It's a very easy choice to 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 want to prefer the 90, to be able to just take care, right, of four units and not have to worry about another solution in the chain, um, or treating two subs in different positions as one unit if you're daisy chaining them or whatever. So I just like I like simplicity and all that as much as possible, and it kind of fulfills that as a requirement. But I do really think that my room has never sounded better. Um, the other thing I'll say too, like in terms of people making this decision, is yeah, there's a significant price difference between the two. It's really almost 2x, right? The MSRP of the 90, I want to say, is like 7,500 bucks. I don't know offhand actually what the MSRP of the 70 is. So I think I paid like 3,200 for mine. I want to say they're probably like 3,800 or something like that now, MSRP. If anybody knows for sure, you could drop it in the chat, or I could probably even look it up here on the side. But regardless, it's somewhere right in that 2x range. But I mean, if you're shopping this stuff, none of this is a need. It's all a want, right? It's all for fun. It's all for the fun of the hobby. No, it's actually 39.99, so it is less than half. So you can't you can almost buy two ABM 70s for 190, but not quite completely two. Um, but I mean, if you got the money, right, and you're not going, don't borrow money for any of this stuff. Don't go into debt for any of this stuff. But you legitimately have the money to spend. You're not going to miss it. The family's not going to not take a vacation, right? Or somebody else in the family is not going isn't going to not get what they need, or right. I just can't imagine why. Just go for it, right? Just go for the 90. Um, if nothing else, like spending those couple $1,000 to me is like it's the peace of mind effect. If you could have done something, so this is definitely how I think, and how my brain impacts me, and sometimes makes me spend more money on things than I might have chosen to otherwise. But if I've got an option A or B, and yeah, like A could be better conceivably for some reasons or another, and it's more expensive, and I talk myself to go getting B, I usually find myself like navigating to A, um, or being like gravitationally pulled to getting A again later. So in doing that kind of a thing ends up costing more money in the long run, because you're buying now like two things new and selling something used and dealing with the pain and the hassle. So again, the best advice I can give is, if you've got the money, if you're looking at these processors, you've got the money sitting in your pocket, particularly if you know you're going to take advantage of the four subwoofers and stuff like that, and or possibly you're going to really use your room as a music listening environment. It's like, man, just get the 90, just do it, just buy it right off the bat. Know that you bought the pinnacle, you bought the mountaintop, you bought the best unit, because every other time, if you buy the 70 and you go in your room, you're always going to wonder, like, would it have been better? What would that other one have been like? And if you can afford it, and the money's there for this part of your hobby, just you're like buying the peace of mind. To me, that's what it is buying the peace of mind. I know now that I've got essentially the pinnacle processor, from a company that I really, really like their products for both my living room with the STR. So I'm kind of glad actually that the 70 sold and not the STR. And then the 90 for the home theater. And it's the right number, multi-channel pinnacle for the home theater, two-channel pinnacle for the living room. and I feel I've got a really good handle on Anthem Arc and the interfaces and the options and the capabilities and whatnot of all this Anthem stuff. So I'm very very pleased with the outcome. And I've read enough similar conjecture. I know other folks. Actually, I'm very curious to get to see somebody else, another local uh, Southeast Michigan or Mid Michigan home theater enthusiast that just recently went from a 70 to a 90. There's actually quite a bit of Anthem around here. I can think of a few of the guys that are out of like the home theater meetup group here in Southeast Michigan that are running anthems. But another guy just made the 70 to 90 change and was very happy with it. Again, I think I've told this story, but I bought my STR off of somebody that had a 70 and the STR, running them both in a combination room with like home theater bypass. Got a 90 and didn't feel that the STR was necessary anymore. That the 90 was on par with the STR for two channel quality, music quality, and all that stuff. Um, so it's hard to say much else. Like again, I'm not going to hard AB. I was not able to or wasn't going to hard AB these units. Um, Measurements, I'm sure that they both measure very equitably. Anthem usually tends to measure very clean and very well. If you want that kind of detail, I recommend go watch the Audioholics stuff or go read their reviews. Um, they've in the last month, several months anyway, they've started to review and comment on a variety of Anthem equipment. I think they've looked at the MRX receivers, and I'm pretty sure that one of the guys over there, Teo's, is got a 90 in his hands for review right now. So that'll be a really technical review, I'm sure, with their usual measurements and all of that stuff. But as a user, again, I just feel like my room has never sounded better, and I don't think that's just because of the 4 subwoofers. I think that the 90 is doing work in the room, just, a little bit above and beyond what the 70 is doing. So it combine, like, everything that's happened in that theater, and I'm, like, more excited about using that room when I go down there now, than ever before. Pinnacle audio, the subs, the chairs, and everything. The thing next, of course, will be more so I think on the video side of things, getting up to a flagship projector, pushing the brightness and stuff like that. So I'm very, very excited for that. That'll probably be more, we'll see, but could likely be more of a 2024 endeavor. But it really does make me want to use the room more, to the point where in the past I've been more likely watching television shows and stuff like that to kind of just stick to the living room for the lazy factor of it. After this time, or like after being done with the stream here, might go in there and watch an episode of Ahsoka or something like that. We just started actually the last season of Better Call Saul. My wife and I last night watched the first episode. I'm feeling more of a draw to like actually want to go downstairs and use the theater for that. And then gaming's the other one that I'm really, really kind of intrigued to go down into the theater and do some gaming. And I haven't really felt inclined to want to game down there for quite a while, pretty much since certainly over a year or so, year and a half, since putting the LG in the living room because of the video quality and stuff. But being able to sit comfortably in that chair for a longer gaming session, of course, the much bigger immersive screen, and then the audio though would really make the experience of it. Again, kind of super pleased with the way everything is going down there. So again, I'll spin out some videos about this, but honestly, my take is less of an AVM 90 review and more of just like one of those like home theater therapy, spending therapy kind of elements, more so than I think it even really is about um, than it is about the unit itself. But I mean, it's fantastic. And again, I don't think anything competes when you add up together all the stuff that Anthem is doing. Um, I think the UI is aces. The web UI is amongst the best. I think Arc Genesis it works incredibly well. It's incredibly powerful, and it's able to be understood and flexed and used, I think, very easily. Um, Build quality, pedigree, parts, uh, inputs, outputs, flexibility, stuff like the virtual inputs are unique, I believe, to the platform. I just don't think anything else really competes at that price point as well. So if there's been a lot of talks and questions and so on as well posed to me about, well, 90 versus the trim off and stuff, which I think was one of the first comments, that was popping up here today, Bobby. Yeah, how do you compare the 90 to the trim off? I think they exist in different, slightly different spaces. But I'll dwell on this comment for a little while because I did have an opportunity to demo Trenoff. Of course, I've seen it and heard it, and at a variety of like demo theaters and whatnot. Um, at Audio Advice Live now a couple times, and that. um, and I did have it for a few weeks. That was a long time ago, admittingly. It'd be interesting to take another kind of run uh, with Trenoff. But to me, um, stuff like Storm and Trinoff, first of all, they exist at a much higher echelon of spending, right? You're talking like another doubling factor. If a 90 is twice as much as a 70, right, your average Storm or your average Trinoff is going to be 2x or more than that. So it's almost in another category, another echelon, another level of uh, of cost that makes equating them hard. And what do you get for all of that money? I think what you get is maybe not necessarily um, baked so much into like the straight up audio quality. It's baked into it's what you're buying is this platform, right? This super powerful, extensible, upgradable platform that you buy once and hopefully are able to use for a very, very long time because it's going to be supported and get an incredible future of software upgrades as well as potentially hardware upgrades, right? And all these things that you're going to be able to capitalize on. And like guaranteed, some of the most advanced capable um, room adjustment, processing, and adaptability that that you're going to find. Right, that it's the pinnacle of that. And if you add all of that stuff up for a space, you're going to be able to, I think, exact the largest possible level of performance out of a space. And of course, we're talking probably about bigger spaces, spaces that have integration challenges, or like spaces that have way more channels of audio. Of course, right? Trinoff and even Storm can do more than the 15 channels of audio that like an AVM 90 does. So in a couple of years, right? I think I've been very happy in the time that I've owned the AVM 70. There's been quite a lot of enhancements added to Arc Genesis and added to the unit, and I think that will continue to be the case. But at some point, there's going to be an AVM 90 Mark II, and there's going to be no upgrade path from an AVM 90 V1 to an AVM 90 V2, or more than likely, I think the next processor model that will come from Anthem isn't in this AVM or MRX series. I would expect it'll be the STR would be the next thing to be logically refreshed because the STR doesn't have the web UIs. It doesn't have a lot of the stuff that came in the current generation of MRX and AVM models. But that's going to be buying a new unit, and so every few years with something like this, you're going to be inclined to maybe want to upgrade it, or maybe every other cycle so it lasts more like several years. But it depends what changes with standards and especially connectivity standards. That's the thing. If we need different HDMIs, although luckily we were proven that even in the Anthem world here, these AVMs and stuff, they were able to upgrade the HDMI boards. If we get an HDMI 2.2 or something, perhaps there would even be another board offering for that. So there actually has been some hardware upgradability and adaptability here. But again, that kind of stuff is what puts Trenoff in another echelon, and you pay for that as well as like a level of um, integration support and different things like that. If you have a room that you're not going above the channel counts that the AVM 90 can manage, you're not going above 4 subwoofers, you're not going above 15 channels. I can say with pretty good assurance that I'm running 7.4.4 right now. It would be a stretch to get my room to 9.4.6. I could do it, but anything beyond that would be, I think, just kind of ridiculous in my space. Um, Conceivably, I could put one more set of tops in place, and I could certainly do wides in the bed layer, even though it'd be very hard to get those into the room as the room is right now. But in a future rebuild, that could be possible. But more than that, like I'll never be in those channel counts in this house in this room. So right off the bat, like I don't need something that can do 20 channels or 32 channels of audio. I won't have that. So that kind of tops off my needs right there, and maybe yours as well. The other thing too is like I would say my room isn't super challenging. I've definitely got some bass knolls and some stuff that I'm trying to figure out still with that, but my speakers are all pretty much in the quote unquote right locations. It's pretty much a straight. There's no awkward dimensions. I've got one row. I'm not looking to calibrate for multiple rows and all that stuff. So it's a pretty simplistic setup, all things considered, for all of the stuff that's in there. And so I don't know. To me, I don't feel a need for much more than that. If down the road, being able to play around with Storm or Trinoff to do another demo, do another review, learn more about it. Now with being kind of more experienced and stuff, a more experienced take, that would be fun. Or just because I have the money, and why not? Let's step up in the long run to the next level of echelon of processor. Maybe that day will come as well. But otherwise, I could be very happy being at this level for a long, long time to come. And at this price point ish, and I couldn't imagine personally buying anything else. I cross shopped a lot of stuff when I was shopping the 70 originally. I looked at Arkham, I looked at Monoprice, I looked at of course, Moran. I had come from Marantz and Denon have stepped up their game a little bit and their price points to kind of match these levels of spending as well. And I think this one is tops. But we'll see what else comes through my hands, kind of in the long run. I'm just looking for a couple other shout outs. So I'll do again. I'll have some content kind of talking about this, but honestly, my take is going to be more like tech therapy than it is like hardcore review take. And it's just, the thing is awesome. If you can afford it, buy it and be super happy with it and rest easy knowing that you probably never need anything else except for the version 2 down the road when it comes along. And right, and you'll be digging it. Let's see. Just want to make sure. A couple comments about Kaleidoscape. My home theater definitely want a Kaleidoscape, all about physical media. So we can talk about the physical media stuff for a few minutes here at least. Of course, it's old news now. Best Buy no longer deciding to sell discs, sell physical media. Interesting maneuver that's on the heels this year of Disney pulling physical media out of some international markets. That's on the heels of the whole big thing with Wikipedia, of course. And piggybacking on what I had said last week is I don't necessarily wish ill will against any format. I just think we're on the cusp of significant paradigm shift and change, and some technologies diminishing strongly or becoming very niche in certain ways, as other technologies really kind of ascend to the forefront. And I think physical media versus streaming or digital delivery, in the case of Kaleidoscape, right? Kaleidoscape isn't streaming, it's digital delivery. I just can't see how that wave doesn't trend forward into the favor of digital delivery, online internet-based delivery of content. So, and all the other element too, of course, is the Sony starting to broaden out the Bravia core. I never actually made a video about that. That's right in my wheelhouse of conversation. Of course, streaming bit rates and video objective quality and things like that. So 80 megabit plus per second streaming is now available, not just locked into latest generation, latest model Sony TVs, but it's on the PS5. So how long before, if that continues to be successful, right? Sony continues to march that service out to some more platforms, and who knows how long before Apple or Voodoo or other folks, if they see some opportunity there or some movement at that like high quality segment of the streaming market, they might make the jump. And we may see some action. So I'm excited for whatever is going to come in these various ways. I just want to see it happen sooner than later. Like, make the change, let's go, and whatever's going to happen, let's have it happen instead of kind of drawing it out, drawing it out too far. So, but yeah, my home theater. If you're interested in anything, I've got the content here on the channel, and happy to Happy to talk about it. Yeah, you had the AVM 90 in your hands as well. So another take over on my home theaters channel. Um, Interesting comment here. You haven't heard the 70, but the 90 sounds better than anything I've heard. There you go. A couple other Kaleidoscape TJ Madden. Welcome, welcome. Had Kaleidoscape for a few months now and love it. Awesome. Welcome to the K Club. Only wish I went with a larger server. Bought a 6 terabyte bundle right before the Prime came out. Filled it with D2D the first day. Since added a second server. Yeah, well, remember too, like you don't have to have all your content locally. One of the virtues of the platform to me is the ability to have a large library in your account and cycle content on your local storage, especially when we're talking about super fast downloads, right? 8-minute downloads, 10-minute downloads, and stuff like that. It's pretty much on demand. Although I would still say the sweet spot, if anybody is considering it, to me, the sweet spot of a Kaleidoscape system is still the get a Strato C and get the 22 terabyte Tera. That's on the order of not quite 400 movies, 350 movies. So you can hold quite a bit. If you're just getting started in the platform, yeah, you can download everything that you're buying probably for quite a while. After a while, though, I'm sure that like your movie library size may exceed a single 22. And I mean, if you've got the money to buy more storage, sure, go buy it. The platform definitely works to its potential, to its best potential, when you have, in fact, all of your movies able to be stored locally. In my case, I'm knocking on the door of like 1,400 films in my K library, so I don't even think an 88 terabyte would hold that. um, maybe it would. I might be getting close though to filling up 188, but there's a lot of things that I would buy before I would consider an 88 terabyte, and certainly before the household finance committee would be in consensus to spend on specifically something like that. But cycling content works. It works so well. I mean, you got the app, you got the web page, you can download stuff there, you can pick and choose, and we've been using it like that for a long time. And with these fast downloads, I think it's just a fantastic way to do it. Looking a couple other questions here, sticking on the themes. Do you think Kscape would benefit from 2.5 gigabit Ethernet switch? So I need to make this video. I've got the notes for it, but I just haven't been able to put it together yet. But I will put together, like I say, let's call it a technical guide to the Prime servers and making the choice of like spinning hard disk versus SSD versus like what kind of infrastructure do you need to maximize or support either one, and and that sort of thing. So if you've got a Prime, TJ, you mentioned having, I think, a Prime hard disk, not the SSD. Yeah, you've got a 6 terabyte Prime V1 and then an 8 terabyte um, hard disk Prime. I don't, 2 gig, 2.5 gig is more than you would need to fully feed the hard disk drive Prime. The SSD Prime, though, like that 2.5 gig networking is in a kind of a sweet spot. So the one element is like 1 gig Ethernet is like right on the line of, let's say, maximizing out the potential of the new hard disk drive primes. So there could be an argument to be made that if you were able to get like 1.2 or 1.5 gig internet service, that potentially the Prime HDD could maximize a little more than a 1 gig pipe. But then if you get more than a 1 gig pipe to maximize that, and you've only got 1 gig networking, right? That's still the bottleneck. So the thing about all of this in kind of figuring out how to maximize your download speed is you've got your internet speed, you've got your local network speed, and then you've got basically, the unit itself. And whichever one of those is the slowest is going to be the limiting factor. And of course, the other thing about the hard disk drive version is it's not going to be as consistent as the SSD. So no matter what, you put all this stuff, all this infrastructure together, every once in a while you might still see something kind of be awry, or something may run a little bit slow. Maybe the tribe is defragmenting, right? Or there's some other services and stuff being run. The main element of value out of the SSD and what that provides is consistency, whereas HDD can somewhat be inconsistent. Um, so I would say too, like if you're looking at doing 2.5 gig Ethernet home networking just for the Kaleidoscape, yeah, you might not find as much super value out of that. If you've got some other reasons to do 2.5, um, there's not really a whole lot else I think going on around our networks. Maybe you've got some super fast NASs and you're doing, um, some heavy file movement around the house, or like some real high end competitive gaming. Um, I think my PC in the other room there, its motherboard is the only device in the house that has a 2.5 gig Ethernet port on it. So I haven't done any 2.5 networking yet. I probably will coming up, um, but it'll be as much of an exercise for the channel and just kind of the interest of talking about it as it is for any real super need. So, but if you wanted to maximize it, get your internet service up to maybe 1.5. Go ahead and do the 2.5 gig Ethernet, and you'd be best set up to be able to kind of um, fully realize those 8-ish minutes quoted download speeds. But even without that, you're probably going to still be at like 10. You know what? I wanted to check lately because I had downloaded some movies lately onto my K, and I felt like I was getting faster speeds than I even had normally seen um, recently. I was kind of surprised, and I don't remember if the movies were just happened to be a little bit smaller than I was anticipating, but yeah, maybe that's what they were. Yeah, just some smaller movies. I That was a HD download. Let me try to. So here we go. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning. Downloaded this a couple days ago. Actually, I bought it for Sunday. I thought maybe this would be one of the movies that we could watch Sunday night. So I went ahead and just grabbed it and downloaded it. What is the size of this? Let me get this, the actual download size of this movie. But so my K hardware reported that it has 792 megabit per second download rate, and it was 18 minutes. So I think this is a bigger movie. Mission Impossible, Dead Reckoning, size, download size, 103 gig. Wow, that's big. 2 hours and 36 minutes. I wonder if that movie is going to be on a BD66. Probably isn't, might not be known yet. This could be another one of those. Here it is. What's it say? What's it say? Now BD100. Okay. So they're not going to totally stomp the disc with that. But yeah, so 18 minutes. What else do I got in here? Oh, I accidentally downloaded all the screams when I bought the bundle. That's the one thing I don't like about the app, Kaleidoscape. If you're watching, it's very easy when you buy movies on the web page to say like, buy it, add it to my account, but don't download it. And in the app, you don't get the same choice. Like you have to go back in and like manually turn off the downloads. It's kind of a pain. So I got a bunch of stuff I need to delete. But I've been consistently getting. I have gig internet and I have gig uh, wired Ethernet going all through here. Oh, there's those things again. That thumbs up. I think we were trying to figure that out last time, where the graphics were coming from. Um, but I'm consistently getting close to 800. Let's call it like 750 megabit per second here on the old Prime. So, and it would be nice, certainly nice to, or on the old Terra. Sorry, it'd certainly be nice to have a Prime and really maximize the pipe, and it would cut these download times by like a quarter. And so 8 minutes turns into 6 minutes, 18 minutes. What does that turn into? 13-ish. So that would be cool. We'll see where that goes. A couple other questions on this topic, and then we'll see what's next here. Welcome, Oprah Winfrey. Jeremy, what do you think of the lifespan? I don't think the lifespan matters in the decision of choosing between those two, quite honestly. So this isn't a device where you're going to download and rewrite enough to be worried about lifetime of either one of them. Like, they use high quality drives. We're talking about super high class drives, enterprise level spinning mechanical drives, incredibly low rates of failure, incredibly long life cycles, right? Drives that are meant to be constantly spinning 24/7 for like long periods of time. And so on the HDD side, I wouldn't worry about it. And on the SSD side, sorry, what kills, SSDs have limited like write life cycles, but what it would take to realistically kill an SSD is a whole lot of repeated writing. And even if you buy like an 8 terabyte SSD, um, Tera Prime model, and you download movies and you watch them and you delete them and you download some other stuff, we'll put it this way, I guess we'll be dead and gone, long gone. That'll be a problem for your children's children. I think, to worry about the hitting the life cycle of the drive in terms of rewrites. Of course, anything can fail. So I'm not talking about failure here, just talking about like lifetime use and wear, um, and all that stuff. So I wouldn't consider that to be a break item for either one. It really boils down to, do you want that speed and consistency of performance, right? Then maybe consider an SSD. If you just want volume and you want to be able to hold more movies for the money, then get the HDD, and that's essentially what it boils down to. I think that's kind of what the treatise of my future video would be. Look, you come to the live stream, listen to the podcast, you get all the spoilers. X, welcome X. I wish Apple would buy Kaleidoscape. They'd be the ultimate streaming service. Yeah, there could be an option. You know, Kaleidoscape is like Apple TV Pro, right? um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. See what happens going forward. A couple of folks commenting about SSD life. Flyjock7, welcome. Had an SSD on me after 3 years of use. Curious, like, so what were you doing with it? Did it fail, or were you doing like a high read write delete kind of thing? I wonder. So I use my MacBook here, MacBook 16, uh, MacBook Pro 16-inch, with the M1 Pro chip. And what did I get in here? I've got, what's my storage size? Use, come on, where is it? I've only got, yeah, it's a 500 gig SSD in here. And I do a lot of stuff on here that would have pretty hefty read write cycles and stuff like that, because I edit on it, and I edit with all of my files on here, right? So there's um, the generation. And for a little while there, when I was making the ripping videos and stuff like that, ripping a 40 gig, 60 gig, 80 gig movie, and then reprocessing it for subtitles and stuff like that. Like, that's a lot of cycles, a lot of life on this drive that I put on it. So I don't think, and I wouldn't even be worried about it. So again, at least I think in a lot of cases, like, the useful life of the electronics is shorter than the lifespan of the the potential lifespan of the sum of its parts and its bits and pieces and all that stuff. Couple other comments. R1 Ashad, welcome. Wow, there's so many people here. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Techthusiasm Live podcast. I really appreciate folks coming out, hanging out, chilling, and just kind of talking about that home theater experience. And so many new names. The since hitting 10K, like, the channel is really kind of is blown up. Like, the view counts are up. I get comments on like older videos and stuff as well. I think YouTube is showing content to a lot more people now in search and all that stuff. It's really cool to see. So welcome, everybody. This whole thing is so fun. Playing Double Dutch, trying to buy a Kaleidoscape. I have a PD NAS with 112 terabyte available storage and a player, 410 movies, and about another 600 to add. Yeah, I mean, well, if you come over to the club, we're welcome to have everybody. Um, The whole kaleidoscape thing is interesting to me. Like it's such a buzzy topic now, and a lot of there's so much like chatter uh, about kaleidoscape, and I think it's for a lot of different reasons. But I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I want to be like Kaleidoscape champion, like the OG champion number one. So there's a lot of people like talking about it, but I bought into this platform 5 years ago, and I've been singing its praises for 5 years. When I put the channel together, one of my stated goals was to really talk about it quite a lot because I didn't think the coverage was very complete, or let's say the coverage that was out there, the discussion out there about Kaleidoscape had some room for improvement, room for education, and all that stuff. And I want it to be successful because I want it to be awesome. It's the best option we have, hands down, despite the price, just saying in terms of features, capability, what it provides, quality, elegance, simplicity, accessibility, all that stuff. It's the best. It's the best, and nobody's competing. There's no other options. Like we need it in this hobby to be successful. It's the pinnacle option, the best thing available. And until or unless Apple or somebody decides to step up the streaming game in a serious way, not just Sony kind of dipping their toe in the water with high bitrate video with only their own content and not even providing lossless audio, missed opportunity there, right? Until that happens, um, with digital convenience and all of that stuff, it's like we have Kaleidoscape, and as these other things continue to happen, like Zapedi, Best Buy, Disney disc distribution, right? I think we'll see more and more of those bits and pieces, the wearing away. So, I want it to be great because it's the best of what we have available to us. And so the more people that are interested to get into the platform, the bigger the base, the healthier it can be, the more they can do, right? More features, more content, more of everything. I just want it to be awesome. I want it to be successful because I've got it sitting down there. I use it a lot. I like it, and I want it to be great. So I sing its praises. And I'm pragmatic enough to make the comment as well that like if tomorrow Apple put out the press release that iTunes movies on Apple TV is now capable of 100 megabit per second video and lossless audio, that's where I'll be. That'll be it. That'll really be it. But doesn't happen every year. WWDC every year. Wait and see maybe if the new tvOS or there'll be a new content quality upgrade and so on. The focus lately in the last few years, a couple years ago, was getting music streaming up to lossless quality. But until or unless it really happens in a complete way, again, I think Bravia Core is a step, but it's not the solution yet. It's still lacking and it's too limited. But hopefully it prods more along those that line. We'll see. Let's see. Talking about those drives again. Yeah, so our primary drive for Windows, just gaming mostly. You might have just had a bad drive. X, that would be nice. Apple TV Pro. Yep. Kaleidoscape could be Apple TV Pro. We'll see. I think they're having too good of a run right now, but who knows? I don't want to even speculate on what the business opportunities might be. Christian's Foot saying hello from Australia. Cool. Just replaced a Class A with an Anthem AVM 70, wanted Atmos, and now worry if I should have gotten the 90. How much better do you think the 90 really is? So I'll implore you to. I don't know if you joined us a little bit late. You can rewind. I talked about the 90 and some of that stuff in the first half hour ish or so of tonight's podcast. What I will say, just to reiterate on the point, is I think the 90 is awesome. If you have the money for it, just buy it. Be happy. Know that you're at the pinnacle. I think it's the best processor in its price point. If you're not looking at going in the next echelon to Storm and Trinoff, it's the one to get. And I think my room has never sounded better with the 90 than ever before. So Rashad saying just stick with the Zapedi NAS and the new app that comes out, or get the 8 or 22 terabyte Kaleidoscape. Yeah. Well, so the thing about it is too, I've said this before and I've heard other people say it recently, just because you buy a K doesn't mean that the rest of your stuff stops working. So you know, keep your if you're a big, you got a physical media library or you've got your physical media library and you ripped it to stuff, all that stuff continues to play and work, right? So it, it it's not like Kaleidoscape is a decision where you jump off a cliff and everything else that you knew and had before goes away, right? Get in and segue yourself in. Stop buying discs, stop working on the server, whatever. Keep the stuff available so it's there if you want to watch it and use it. And then, do the disc to digitals where it makes sense to do so. Buy the super bundles and the favorites, segue some of your library over, buy the new content there, right? And work your way like into the platform and see where you're at in 3 months and 6 months or a year, right? And you may get to a point where you divest yourself of the prior solutions, or you've done a lot of disc to digital, you've got a bunch of your favorites replaced in your Kaleidoscape library, and you like it enough to say, all right, I'm in and I'm ready to let go of these former solutions. But it's okay to run them in tandem for a while. So now I will say too, if anybody out there is interested in the platform, I don't sell it, I'm not a dealer. But I have friends, of course, and references. I would recommend checking out Audio Advice. Go through my links. Great company, great service, and all of that. They'll get you the stuff in crazy short shipping times, amount of times, and all that. I really do think they are a great place to go. Ryan at Ascend AV is another one. If you're working with him, particularly for Kaleidoscape, let him know that you came as a referral, you learned about Kaleidoscape, you're interested in it because of Techthusiasm. I do have some business partnerships set up with those folks, and there is some affiliate sharing money. It's like absolutely the best way to help the channel along, help me do more stuff, and buy great things from great companies at the same time. But if you want some more direct help, or anybody does, message me, Techthusiasm_JP at outlook.com, or go to jeremypyle.com and message me through there. And I can get you like in direct contact with folks, right, for all kinds of stuff. I've got more than a handful of different friends and collaborators and colleagues now all around all around this business, all around this hobby. And so different folks click better with different um, resellers or integrators than others. So Dan, another one, Audiovision locally here, no shortage of options out there. Let's see, Edward, screw Apple. NVIDIA needs to buy Kaleidoscape and add it to their AI. But man, VR is, yeah, we'll see. I don't think NVIDIA has the same aspirations that Apple would have in the space. So, but who knows? Who knows? South FM, yeah, Kaleidoscape's running promo for Zapedi owners. Yep. So that's been out since what, last week? End of last week, I think it was. Basically, the more you buy with K, excuse me, you get movie store credits. They get pretty considerable in some of the bigger units, like a few $1,000s or so of movie store credits. One thing to keep in mind that was a point of conjecture about the Zapedi promo was it doesn't stack with other deals. And actually, this is something to consider as well, because I believe the current Kaleidoscape promotion is set to expire at the end of October. I believe that the current pricing promos run out in October, and that's not the Zapedi promo. That's the other promo from summer where like certain Strato and Terra combos were like $1,000 off, uh, just flat up $1,000 and more off their MSRPs. And I believe you may not get the hardware discount and the Zapedi store credit in the same purchase. And then I'd also heard some hearsay that, well, they're kind of working on that and maybe there'd be some revisions. So I don't know where that's at. The best thing that I could recommend is like right now, if you are considering a Kaleidoscape, because of all the different stuff that's going on with deals and the promos and the Zapedi thing and whatever, depending on where you're coming from, it's probably more important than ever to like talk to somebody rather than just going, buying from a webpage. So like Audio Advice, for example, right? You can go to audioadvice.com and you could order a Kaleidoscape, but I would really recommend that like you call them if this is a product that you're interested in at this moment in time, because of the confluence of deals and promos and whatnot going out there. Call and talk to them and work it out over the phone to try to make sure to fully maximize the deals that you're getting, or Ryan as well, which Ryan Ascend AV, you would call him anyway. But have the conversation with the dealer and make sure they lay everything out for what you're eligible for, what you're able to get, right, and maximize the buying opportunity together in your favor there. And of course, if you're calling these guys, mention that I sent you. It's a Techthusiasm referral. The affiliate relationship benefit values and stuff work over the phone as well. I know I'm missing some comments. We got a lot of people in here, and I'm trying to get to more of these comments. So I'm not too proud as well. If you'd like to throw any super chats, super stickers, and stuff like that, feel free to do so. X saying, I hope you're getting discounts or some kind of commission. We're trying to push K-Skate promoter for something. Again, like, I'm not pushing it. I legitimately want it to be successful because I want it to be great. Like, I want them to have an awesome engineering staff. I want them to work on features. I want them to go be able to have the stroke to, like, go get Criterion and some of the other studios that have been kind of reticent to put their content on the platform. I think it's the best option we have to me, until Apple provides super high bit rate lossless streaming, and then I know where my loyalty will go. But no, I don't have any direct relationship in that way with Kaleidoscape. Kaleidoscape doesn't sell direct anyway. They only sell through dealer networks and integrators and stuff like that. So my business partner relationships, I would say, with the channel are through those referrals. So Audio Advice and others. So if you want to help me out, support the channel, let me get more stuff. Doing this 90, ultimately probably keeping the SVS subwoofers and all the chairs, all the stuff that I've been able to do this year is really funded by the channel. I retain my channel earnings. I run Techthusiasm very much like a business. I manage the books, and the revenue from the channel determines what I'm able to do. The more I have to work with, the more I can do, the more I can talk about, the more interesting everything gets. And it's just a virtuous cycle of, like, fun business wrangling and all that stuff. So if you're, of course, there's the $100 movie store credit referral thing. That's really the only engagement. If you as a new customer, anybody coming into the platform, if you use my referral code, you get $100 in movie store credit. I get that as well. That's nice. Absolutely. I won't scoff at that either. I've used those credits to buy plenty of content into my movie library, but that's not putting crazy money in the Techthusiasm coffers or anything like that. So if folks are really making a decision to get into K, because my information helped to inform them, not to push them again, but to, like, share the message, raise awareness, understand what it's all about, and be interested, to jump in and that sort of thing. The way to do that and help me is to go buy it at Audio Advice or Ryan now. Let's see. Shot saying 22 terabyte prime server and Strato MSRP 1390. Yeah, promo price 12,591. Oh, plus the movie credit, plus additional credit, movie store credit from us. I'm not sure what the from us is. But yeah, again, I think, like, you want to call and talk to the dealers, and you have to have the ZPD NAS to qualify. Yeah, proof of ownership and all that's required. Again, best thing you can do is call and talk to the folks and broker every advantage you can get. This is expensive stuff. So, I mean, there's no shame in wanting to maximize the promos, get every discount you can. And, who knows, ask for even a little bit more if the dealer is willing to do something extra for you. I'm trying to catch up with some of this comments here, and we'll move on to some other topics too. However, wouldn't you be worried if you purchase a movie and they lose the right? So no, because generally speaking, and this goes it's not just Kaleidoscape, but in terms of, like, digital ownership, it's very rare that stuff would get taken out of an account when you transacted to buy it. and I can speak from experience that in digital stores, I've seen things get delisted, and but if you've bought it, it doesn't go away from your library. Things can go away from the store because of maybe some rights changes or licensing changes and stuff like that. But if you own something, it's theirs for you to keep. A good example of this actually right now, I think, or at the end of the month, I don't know why it's the case, but there was a Avengers game that came out a couple years ago. I want to say, this might have already been happened at the end of September, not October. But the Marvel Avengers game, like, was announced as basically going to be delisted. Yeah, as of September 30th, it won't be available to buy in digital storefronts anymore. Right, so it's being delisted for sale. I don't know exactly why that was the case, but I bought it on Steam. It's like not everybody just on all the digital stores. They like literally sold it for like $5, like last chance to buy it. For some reason, I don't know. Square Enix and pulled the plug on it and didn't want to do anything with it with Marvel anymore. But you buy it, it's still there. September 30th, it got delisted, but it's still in my Steam account now because I bought it, and I could play it. That's not to say that it doesn't ever happen that something can disappear from your account. But again, if you purchased it, even if something squirrely happens with the rights, you should still be able to have it. Yeah, here's one of the downsides, of course, Christian's Foot. No K-Scape in Australia, by the way. I'd love to have it. We are miles behind. Yeah, so K-Scape is best in the US by far. I think Canada's not too far behind that. Europe, in some countries, okay, but yeah, the international experience is certainly not the same as the US. And there's quite a few international folks in the channel audience and all that stuff. So fortunately, it's not such a great option for you folks. Let's see. NVIDIA's aspirations make Ready Player One a reality. Yeah, we'll see. Hey, Apple Vision Pro, we're getting closer and closer. We'll see what happens with augmented reality, virtual reality in the coming year. Yeah, Edward. Reason I think NVIDIA would be a good company to own K is they're already doing high bitrate streaming with GeForce now. Yeah, I wouldn't bet against the internet. I think inevitably we will see, speed will get better, faster, more consistent, and there'll be more and more data coming down those pipes. Compression algorithms as well could improve, right? Same or better quality and fewer bits. So all these things are happening. Oh, X saying if Apple lost the rights, do you think you can lose it, not Kaleidoscape? It's the same deal. I have umpteen hundred movies in my Apple iCloud account that I've acquired over the years, long time, like redeeming codes and Movies Anywhere, and then I literally kind of just double buy the library because hedging the bet of owning things in K. I buy in K for quality and for certainly like viewing in the theater, and then I like to own movies on iTunes as well for kind of more casual viewing and for special features and stuff like that. But I have the same confidence. Apple is a digital store holder that I have confidence in to own things that once you own it, it would be a very special situation that something would disappear from your account. So Rashad saying, if you have a large collection already and you're starting from scratch, 8 terabyte or 22. So I would say like this is a decision that you ideally kind of want to make once, and be happy with it. So one of the things that they made this a little more challenging, and I'll say actually, let me say it like this, I guess. I've got a 12 terabyte. I've had multiple pieces of K hardware over the years. I bought the old 2U Strato with 6 terabyte built in. Then I've had some bigger storage along the way, and then I decided to pull back to a Strato S 6 terabyte, and I've always found 6 terabyte to be tight. I think 6 terabyte was a little too small. About 100 movies. Granted, when I had 6 terabyte, I had it in a Strato S, which took 45 minutes to download a movie. And quite honestly, when we had that set up, the thing that I found is that we weren't using the kaleidoscope as much anymore, because we would get in a situation where it would be like, let's watch a movie. Okay, what do we want to watch? All right, let's watch that one. It's not downloaded. It's going to take 45 minutes. Now let's just stream it. So we kept going back to like the Apple TV. We got this like expensive, awesome kaleidoscope sitting in the rack, and more often than not, like we're going to iTunes for the movie because it's immediate playback, right? We don't have 45 minutes to wait to start the film because we made the decision right after dinner time, and kids need to get to bed and it's a school night or whatever. So 6 terabyte was small to me, but it was small because of the download speeds. Now you can have 8 terabyte with effectively the Tera Prime HDD is like 8. They quoted it 8 minutes or 10 minutes download speed. That's virtually on demand. So if you need to save the extra few $1,000, and that's what it takes to get you into the platform and enjoy it, I think 8 terabyte is fine. It's a little bigger than the 6, which is nice. A little more headroom, right? 30% more effective storage. But in addition to being slightly larger, you're getting those fast download speeds, and so you can turn your content around. You can make choices at the last minute and stuff like that. If you've got the money and you don't mind spending it, and you want to have quite a larger buffer of available content to choose from without any waiting, then go for the 22. Again, I don't think 8 versus 22. Neither one of those choices is about like, oh, I'm going to fill this up and I'm going to buy more storage. I would think that anybody in this ecosystem, once they get into it, and particularly if they find that they really like it, your library is going to outsize either one of those units eventually. It's just a matter of when, right? Your library will outsize the 8 terabyte sooner than the 22, but just because you outsize the 8 doesn't mean you need to go buy more storage. Be happy with the 8, cycle your content. You just have less stuff, right, locally at the ready to go. It'll take you longer to get to that point if you get the 22, but I guarantee after a year, a couple of years of using it, you're gonna have a library. If you're any kind of a movie collector, you're gonna have a bigger library than the 22. So part of that depends on your spending habits and how things kind of evolve. If you're only gonna really buy favorites, or you're gonna rent more and stuff like that, then yeah, you probably don't need as much storage. Save some money, buy the smaller one. So those are some factors that I would consider in the equation there. All right, let's see. Ooh, got another Michigander in here. Alex Boyce, welcome. Hello, guys. West Michigan. Cool. Love my fellow Michiganders. Love all the channel audience. Yeah, Oprah, I brought something from Fandango when they closed their digital store. All my movies went over to Vudu. Yeah, that would, I mean, if something really goes down catastrophic, that's generally what the outcome is going to be, as well as like the rights are going to go somewhere else. They'll transfer your rights somewhere else, and so on. But still, you got to make good choices about who you feel comfortable buying digitally from. And there's certain companies that I would buy certain things from than others. I feel completely comfortable with Apple on like the media front. I feel completely comfortable with Amazon for books. Like Kindle is the de facto standard for ebooks. Steam, Sony for games, less so than for movies. Actually, Sony's already kind of proved that from a digital movie storefront standpoint, they may not be the most trustworthy because they killed their European stores and whatnot. But in terms of the PlayStation Store, no fear whatsoever there. Xbox, so pick and choose. Fandango is one. I would never probably went and built a big library with Fandango relative to some other choices. If it wasn't going to be Apple, it'd be Amazon or Vudu now. But Amazon quality isn't quite as good. So all right, a couple other comments here. James Coleman, good evening from Arizona. First time on live stream. Welcome. Long time subscriber. Love the channel. Thank you. Really, I appreciate it very much. PK Hamu 2005. What's the main difference you've observed in the sound quality SB16, the Arundels? Which one is more VFM? If I had to choose VFM, it's not computing in my mind. Wait, VFM. Value for money. probably. They're actually about the same price, right? MSRP, I think, is about the same price. So I did talk about this at the beginning in that first half hour. Quite a few musings on the SVS subs in the room and the state of the room and the Arndals and that. Honestly, if I had to throw in, I'll put it this way: the way that I'm thinking right now, if I had to make a choice and I were to probably put four of either one of those subs in my room, I'd probably be leaning towards the SVS. And that's just because like I always just had some doubts in my mind or just uncertainty in my mind about the dual driver setup of the Arndal. And I've got bass traps in my corners and I'm like shooting one of the drivers right in the bass trap. Whereas like to me, I just like the naturalness of the drivers on the front. It's aiming right at my seats, at my listening position, and integration is that way. I think for whatever reason too, one of the things that I want to play with on the Arndals is I've always run them at they have an option in their app called reference volume, and I've just turned that on. And I wonder if that's the wrong way to go because like out of the box, like I just feel like the SVS are doing so much more than the Arndal, but that may just be a configuration thing. So more to come on this. I think both of the apps are really good. I think the Arndal app it's had a couple of bugs in it, and I haven't found any bugs in the SVS app. Um, Connectivity is pretty good between both of them in terms of uh, XLRs and stuff like that. I really do like the fact that the SVS has the the readout on the top, just because you always can be guaranteed. I don't have the digital display on while we're watching the movies and stuff, but it comes on when the sub wakes up, and I just like the assurance of seeing, okay, the lights came on. I know the sub's on. It's working. The light goes off after a few seconds. Where the Arndals, like I've got no feedback to know that they triggered on or that not triggered, but they auto sensed on and they're working and doing their thing other than just hearing the bass in the room. So to me, it's more about some of the usability and the integration aspects and the form factor and so on. Um, I think they integrate it all together so nice that like my bass is so thorough and tight um, that it's great. I think either one could do the job. Audioholics just reviewed the Arndal 1723 2S as well. Very, very detailed technical review. And they did the SB16 a while back also. So if you're looking for some more detail on that, go check out those two reviews. I don't think they did a video on the Arndal yet, but the written review is up as of last week or something like that. Let's see, Edward. Now, Steam is hands down the best digital content provider in the world. Yeah, well, so I want to talk about this a little bit. The kind of the prospect of home theater gaming. Um, Julius asking, why did you go with the Apple ecosystem instead of Android? I would say I've only recently been a Mac user. I started my Apple ecosystem with the iPad, and at the time the iPad came out, I bought my iPad for comic book reading. Um, there's no better tablet out there for reading digital comics than the iPad, especially the big old 12.9 incher, right? Just those big old pages. It's fantastic. So I think the Apple killed it with the iPad, and I don't think even when the iPad came out, I was using iPhones yet. Um, but there was like a confluence of introduction to the Apple ecosystem between the iPad and then going to an iPhone and then the Apple TV turning into what it turned into. Um, haloed me in on a lot of different things, and then adding everything else, the AirPods, the watch for the gym, and then eventually the MacBook as well here. I just think it works. All of this stuff under this ecosystem works better together and more cohesively than anything else. And I don't think there's another company that offers the same breadth of integrative devices as Apple does. In Android, I guess you could say you've got like the Shield, you got some Google TV things or whatever. You've got some phones, right? You've got tablets, but they probably come from different makers. And then you still need a computer, which is probably going to be a Windows computer. And I don't know, there's nothing as cohesive as in an entire ecosystem, if you haven't used all these devices legitimately, then Apple, yes, as Oprah says, the ecosystem as a whole is user friendly. I'm even starting to consider like migrating other things to deeper into Apple. I've been a long time like Microsoft Office 365 Exchange user, and we use OneDrive. We have a lot of stuff, important things and whatnot in OneDrive, and I'd still have a hard time probably making the migration to Pages and um, whatever the Apple equivalents of Excel, PowerPoint, and Word are. But yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking really hard about turning into using iCloud more, photo storage built in, um, maybe even switching like email and calendars and OneDrive storage over to iCloud. We'll see. Yeah, Samsung has a complete ecosystem, but it's not the same though, right? Because again, you could buy a Samsung, right? Can you buy a Samsung laptop? Maybe. Um, but it's running Windows. It's not running the cohesiveness of a phone running iOS to a tablet running iPad OS to an Apple TV running tvOS, and then um, a MacBook, a laptop running Mac OS. Even I don't think Samsung can't meet that to be the cohesive interface everywhere in the house. The deck isn't the Dex thing like the phone. Refresh my memory on. Yeah, you can use your mobile phone's feature on a wider screen by connecting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's the same. But I'm sure sure that works great for some folks. But yeah, the cohesiveness of the platform is what it's all about for me. So do you think Infuse will be integrated to work well with Vision Pro? So I talked about this when the Vision Pro news first came out. I thought I had a pretty unique take on it, although the video didn't really do much. Which is the Vision Pro and what it really means and what it would be like as a home theater device. And hopefully, Apple's thinking about doing the right stuff with it. So, because the one thing we don't want is to put a Vision Pro on our head, watch a movie, and then listen to the audio of that movie coming off of the little speakers, right? Or even with these, right, little AirPods and stuff. Like we don't want movie audio with this like super high quality immersive video experience. So like it needs to work out somehow that like you sit in your theater and instead of an expensive projector and a big old screen, right, that has challenges and HDR compromises and other things like that. Instead, we could be looking at an Apple Vision Pro screen while our ears are still exposed and we could still have a surround sound audio system around us. And so that needs to be coordinated through these apps, and Apple hopefully makes the right tools. I think it's less about Infuse, um, and then more about what are the tools in the SDKs, in the platform kit that Apple gives to the developers to do something with it. Because what needs to happen is you sit in your theater, you got your surround sound system, you got the Apple Vision Pro on, and that needs to be using their some kind of a network based connection, wireless based connection to your Apple TV, so that the Apple TV and the Vision Pro are telling each other, okay, we're playing a movie. Let the Apple TV send the audio for that movie out via HDMI to the audio system where it's already connected, but sync that like a share play-ish kind of thing, sync that to the video that the person is watching on the Apple Vision Pro. And I think that's what needs to happen. So maybe an HDMI link, but what you don't want is that the Apple Vision Pro has a wired connection to get your audio to your audio system, because that would kind of be kludgy, and a little bit of a pain. And it doesn't necessarily, these things also, it probably also needs to work like a many to one relationship. So like me and my wife are sitting in the theater, we both have a Vision Pro on, we're watching the movie, and that's all sunk together, video and audio and stuff all around us. So If they make the right software kit to accomplish that, then anybody can support it, and Infuse could, right? Infuse could take advantage of that. Um, so we'll see where that goes. Yeah, just imagine how game changing it would be when viewing a movie. Yeah, I don't know. So that's the thing. Is like, is it really going to be cool to sit in a room for 2 or 3 hours with this thing on your head versus just sitting back and watching a big projection screen? I don't know. That's to be determined. I'll tell you what. For me, I just opened my drawer over here to pull out the Focal Bathies. Um, Anybody interested in a pair of Focal Bathies? Like, these things are absolutely fantastic headphones. And this is where they sit in the drawer because I can't stand to have them on my head. I can't stand not just those, but just headphones. I found I don't like having earbuds in my ears for hours at a time. I can't sit here working for 4 hours, 8 hours with headphones on my head. I feel like might as well take like a weight and just suspend it on my head. It makes me uncomfortable. So, how is it going to be to wear an even bigger thing all over your face for an extended period of time? So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm hoping we'll see. I'm hoping maybe to get one. I think it would be an interesting thing to talk about. I think I could hopefully give an interesting take, qualified take on the whole Apple Vision thing when it comes out. If it makes sense to be able to buy one and do some stuff with it on the channel and all that. So yeah. So the last topic that I was kind of muse on. I should have started some comments along the way because there was a little bit of the gaming chatter. I missed Julie's comments. When will the Buckeyes? Buckeyes? Think so? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I kind of want to still keep this. I wanted to do a cool unveiling or whatever. I was actually hoping that the amp might be here for this stream so that I could pull it out, show it off, talk a little bit about it. But I'm still waiting for a shipping update from last week's purchase. So I would have thought it would have arrived by now, but alas, it is still in transit. I guess I'll drop a hint for all the Techthusiasts, diehards that are here hanging out. Is I did not buy an amp for the theater yet. So the amp that I bought one. My whole amp plan involves essentially buying somewhere between 3 and 4 amplifiers. But I've only bought one. It's a 2-channel amp. It's for the living room, and it will allow me to relocate the STR. I'm going to keep the Triad rack amps for the moment. I'll add this new amp to the setup. I'm going to move that stuff to the other side of my rack. So I'll have the living room gear together on the left side. I'll have the home theater gear together on the right side, which makes room for hopefully something else that will be coming before at some point, hopefully this year, to the Techthusiasm home theater specifically. But the first amp is for the living room. And I can take the speakers in there. I can take them off of the Parasounds, off of the shared Kludgy kind of zone 2 setup that I've been running, and have that room, that zone, be completely standalone and independent from an audio processing and amplification perspective. Looking forward to that. So that's what's coming. But I'm still kind of inclined to hold on the brand and the model for the fun of it. So we'll see. Maybe when it comes, I'll have a very like impromptu. I'll just go live. I'll have an impromptu live. So if something happens early evening one day during the week or this weekend, and you see me go live on short notice, we'll do like an impromptu unboxing and stuff like that. Then I wonder maybe for a future live stream to do the live stream, the setup and but I don't know. I think I'll be spending more time around and behind my rack, so that might get boring. Kind of tried to do that when the MDX 16 came in, and I think it was mildly fun, but I wasn't sure as a viewer how interesting that really was. So I may not try to repeat that, but the other big thing that I've been debating has been this gaming. So I'm curious. Show a hand. Sound off in the comments. Like, are you a gamer? Yes or no? What platform do you game on primarily? Like, or maybe if you're multi-platform, put them in order. What do you game on the most, and where do you game? Do you have a home theater room? Do you game in a home theater room? Do you game in the living room? Do you game in an office? I'm curious what folks are doing, because man, I'm struggling with this gaming decision again, once again, so much, because we've got Spider-Man 2 coming out in actually in like 2 days, right? I think it's Friday, the 20th, something like that. It goes live, and man, that's like that's right in my wheelhouse. Superhero, amazing game. By all accounts, like I've watched a whole bunch of the technical performance stuff, Digital Foundry, and some of the other takes, and it looks like Insomniac, took blood from a stone, um, from these current generation consoles in terms of uh, fidelity and quality, that they were able to get out of that on the PS5. And I don't think I can wait a year or two to play that game. I'm getting too old to wait. For these games. I just want to play them when they're new, play them when they're topical and all that stuff. And Sony and their infinite wisdom is still not gone day and date. So there's been some interesting developments on the Sony front, right? I'm going to draw a blank on his name, but the CEO is retiring here pretty soon. Yeah, Jim Ryan, PlayStation boss, stepped down March 2024. So it's curious, like, what is that going to mean, right? New leadership, new vision. Um, might they pull back on the PlayStation level of PC commitment, or might they go full bore? And then I saw it was in some discussion thread, but there was a job offering or job opening being advertised for like a Sony PC analyst. Yeah, here it is. It was in a NeoGAF thread. It just came up in my history. What was this? Sony's looking for a PC planning analyst to expand the platform. I should probably apply for that job. Um, as a PC planning analysis, you will play a pivotal role in driving sales success and shaping strategy for PlayStation's fast-growing PC business. So, yeah, you wouldn't be doing that if you weren't planning to kind of double down on the stuff. But I don't know. I've been struggling a little bit with the computer lately. We've had more controller problems. I don't know what it is, but I swear, like a year ago, give or take, a summer or two ago, like Microsoft broke controllers, and they've never fixed them. Um, in terms of like connection reliability and all that stuff, which was the whole reason that led me to bringing the PC up to the living room. I've got an Elite Series 2 controller that the other day, all of a sudden, like, I don't know, it's like sticking or something, like it's going up and down, and we can't control it. Um, so like that controller seems to be a bust. Seems to be relegated to that controller and stuff. And I don't know. I think like these PS5 Pro rumors heating up. I think the PS5 Pro could be a monster of a machine. Granted, it's a year away, but when you've got just the simplicity of the consoles, right? It's the whole same reason behind. It's like a backwards decision of like choosing Kaleidoscape over building your DIY Plex ripped local media server. Like PC is the equivalent of going the ripping route, and console is the equivalent of elegance and simplicity and accessibility, um, of the Kaleidoscape route. But unfortunately, whereas Kaleidoscape also wins on quality, PC, you have to jump through all those hoops in order to realize that quality. Um, and on the one hand, like going back to console, being able to play these PlayStation games right away, day and date, no waiting and whatever would be cool. But I don't want to have three consoles again. I don't want to have an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Switch. And I don't think the Switch is going anywhere. So going PlayStation means giving up whatever games I might want to ever play that Microsoft's going to put out. So in some respects, like PC is the neutral platform. It's both an Xbox and a PlayStation, even though it comes with some of its own caveats and stuff. And I have to be honest, like with everything that's going on in the theater room lately, I really kind of want a game down there. Um, now that I've got the chairs, the Audio Device Revelation chairs to sit in, like I didn't want to sit. I didn't want a game down there sitting on the couch. I found that to be very uncomfortable. Our couch up here is more supportive and comfortable for like sitting on the screen or squared up to the screen and playing games and stuff like that. But now that the chairs are there, boom, I'm ready. And then again, the audio quality, being able to game at night, turn up the volume a little bit more because it's down in the basement. It's a little more sound controlled. While the kids are asleep, I can't crank this living room. If I were to go play Spider-Man, whatever, right now, I'd have to manage the volume in the living room. I go down in the basement. I've got a little more carte blanche to do it. And doing PC kind of like makes that more challenging. Granted, you buy the right video card, you can get two HDMI outputs. I could run it to two monitors, but the G2, right, goes HDMI 2.1, 120 FPS, VRR. The projector that I have anyway right now doesn't do any of that. Even a JVC NZ would get you HDMI 2.1 and 120 FPS, but there's no VRR. And so even with a 4090, it's a hard sell to run a lot of games at pure 120. So you really need the VRR to clean that up. I kind of wonder, actually, I would put that out there, challenge to JVC. When the successor models to the NZ come, let's just say for sake of argument, in fall of 2024, I wonder if they will have figured out how to do VRR on a projector, or if that even is even technically possible because of the way a projector display lighting engine and display technology works. Maybe possible with the laser and not with a bulb unit, but I wonder, like that would just be killer, because then the displays would be in congruence with each other, both HDMI, both HDMI 2.1, or sorry, both HDR, both HDMI 2.1, both 120 FPS capable, and both VRR capable. And now you would be able to like replicate the PC display to both zones rather than getting stuck between different different video outputs with different capabilities and whatnot. So I was thinking really hard. I'm trying to fight the urge to just go buy the PlayStation, even potentially buy two of them. I really like that DualSense Edge. I've not been impressed with the reliability of Xbox controllers lately, and I think the DualSense Edge is a better controller than the Elite, which I've kind of reversed my position on from times past. Um, Again, simplicity, easy. I could go buy two PlayStations. I could put one in there behind the TV. I could put one downstairs. Um, Quick resume if I go to play games in the same zone, stuff like that. But I don't know. That then just fidelity just breaks it down. My son and I this evening after dinner, we were playing the original Lego Batman game. We've been playing through a bunch of the Lego games. We just did a Lego Marvel Avengers, the movie one. But when did Lego Batman come out? This is like such an old game. 2008. Playing a game from 2008 on PC in 4K, right? 60 FPS. It looks clean. It looks cleaner than most other new games do, brand new games do on console. It's just ridiculous. And so that's what keeps me wanting to stick to the PC, but I don't know. I'm really struggling with this. It's going to be hard to not want to play Spider-Man. Superhero game, awesome. So much positive vibes about it, and so on. So let me take a look at some of the feedbacks here. So Edward says he's mostly a gamer PC. Have a media room, run my gaming computer through my AVR. Yep, use a Corsair lap board. So yep, that's what I've got. Right now the PC is still sitting down in there in front of the TV. I don't use I have a little Logitech K400, K800 keyboard mouse pad single combo unit that I bust out when I need to, but I have the PC auto boot to the Steam Deck UI, so we can turn the PC on and just use controllers to launch games and stuff like that. But I don't play with a mouse and keyboard. I never really have. Mia, PC gamer, used in the office and in the living room. All right, so Mia, how are you managing two displays with one PC? Do you have one of the specific video card? Well, so this is the thing. Like only Asus, I think nowadays, has two true HDMI ports. But if you're in the office, you might have a monitor. You're doing one display port, one HDMI. I've never had good luck with HDMI to display port converters. I've tried that a number of times. They've often been faulty in one way or another. Darwin saying mostly game in my home theater with my gaming PC. Yep, and you still got the PS5 and Xbox for the exclusives. Yeah. So that's the other thing I was thinking. Maybe technically, I guess I'm a Best Buy Total Tech member. I could go buy a PlayStation for 60 days and knock out Spider-Man. But I don't know. I'd like to platinum it. I platinumed Spider-Man Remaster when the PS5 first came out, and I almost platinum Miles. I'm like one trophy short of having the platinum for Miles, and I didn't do it because the last trophy is like play the entire New Game Plus again. It's like, geez, I like it, but I also want to play some other games too. JW Love 36 gamer PS5 theater room. Sometimes ultra wide 4K. That's another thing I never made this video. I've had the intention to make it for a while, which is like you hook that PC up in the theater downstairs, and you can actually do a couple different things. One is the 4096 by 2160 is true 4K resolution. And when you hook up nothing uses it, of course, like Blu-ray players, streamer boxes, Kaleidoscape, right, are all 3840 by 2160. But the PC will do 4096, and the JVC is a native 4096 panel. So you can get a little bit of extra wide. Of course, you need more horsepower. You're pushing more pixels. But so that's a cool side effect of the PC. And then a lot of games nowadays, right in the menus, like the Sony games in particular on PC, you can put them in ultra wide mode and then zoom it up on the projector, just like zooming up ultra widescreen scope movies. And that is just fantastic. It is so good. Performance actually goes up because overall you're pushing less pixels than the full native 4K field, but it looks fantastic. So then in that case, like you do that, maybe you can run native 120 FPS on the JVC. So that's really cool. I need to make that video. Like that, it's so good. Alex Boyce, gamer, Xbox, Nintendo PC, got them all. Number one spot for me is the home theater, NP5. So there you go. Full CAFR rhythmic subs, nice. Play the Switch handheld. So NP5 with all those systems. So Alex Boyce, do you run your PC at 4196? Do you have a scope screen? Do you zoom it up? Curious on your home theater usage there. Edward, I think Xbox is going to crush Sony over the next 10 years. That's interesting because I have the opposite take. I think to me, I feel like Xbox, aside from their acquisitions, which maybe that's the long game, right? Maybe that's the methodology by which they turn the tide and they find much more success. I feel like Sony is better poised to seize on success. And I'll tell you, like, too, if Sony actually drops a really powerful, really awesome PS5 Pro with a major step up in performance and fidelity, and Microsoft does the asinine decision to make their mid-gen refresh have nothing to do with graphical performance, I shudder to think what that's going to mean for the next 3 years of console war. Julius, he's got them both: PS5, Xbox, 75-inch TV, living room. Yep, that's his one main system. At this rate, Microsoft's going to buy Steam, basically have a complete monopoly on the gaming market. Yeah, we'll see. Acquisition is the name of the game still in the gaming business. and we'll see how Sony responds to this Activision Blizzard finalization. They go buy Capcom or go pick up some other Japanese companies, Konami, whatnot. Oprah, PS5 game set up by gaming, play mostly Call of Duty, etc. Playing volume -10 God of War. My 5-year-old gets scared. Yeah, that's a hefty game to play with the 5-year-old around. Hamza, for sure. PC easily wins on quality. Yeah, just get a 4090. That's what I got. Well, not a QD OLED, but the LG G2 in there. It's an amazing combination. It makes me a better gamer too. When we upgraded that TV from the Sony X900 to the LG G2, we were playing at the time. My son and I, we were playing Hot Wheels Unleashed, and I was able to win races now on this setup that I was not able to win before because of just the low latency and high refresh rate and all that stuff. It's awesome. Edward, I won't buy a PS5 because Game Pass. Yeah, Game Pass. It's such a that it's an absolute deal, and the more they push into it, the better the deal gets. So I agree with that. Yeah, play on Series X and save. The one thing I would caution with Game Pass and any subscription service, particularly with video games, is we had this happen. We started a game called Moving Out, which is it's a fun family game, multiplayer co-op. Your whole task is to essentially go around this town, and the levels are houses, and you move the furniture and the stuff out into a moving truck, and you destroy things, and chaos ensues, and all that sort of stuff. It's fun game. We beat it as a family, and I think number 2 just came out. Actually, we were still playing some of the DLCs, but we discovered that game on Game Pass, but it's not a Microsoft title. So we were playing it there, and we got pretty far along in the game, and then we put it aside for a while, and wanted to come back to it, play it again, like sometime later, and it was no longer on Game Pass. We were playing it on the PC, Game Pass PC, and so the game, our progress, like everything, was locked in that Xbox app. So it's like, oh, okay, now we want to buy this game like we'd buy it on Steam, and there's no way now to take our progress over. So I got burned on that a little bit. Definitely learning a lesson. Like, it's one thing to subscribe in gaming, particularly. It's one thing to subscribe to a subscription service, but be careful what games you're playing. I think it's better to play the first party games that are never going to leave that subscription service, and can keep those games compartmentalized to that service. And if you're going to buy something, right, um, do it elsewhere. Buy it elsewhere, and don't mix, or because you can't port those save games and files and stuff like that. What we're saying, PS5 gaming Atmos okay. Use the AVM70 upmix Dolby Atmos. So it's been so long because the living room is 2.2. It's been so long since I've actually experienced multi-channel gaming. Kind of like downplayed in my brain a little bit. But again, I'm sure if I hooked the gaming back up in the theater, I would be very, very happy with it. Yes. Oh yeah, multiple. So that's the way you go. Multiple PCs. So an office computer and a gaming PC. Um, I'm not going to do multiple computers though, for sure, between the theater and the living room. It's I want to build a top end PC, and if I keep the PC, my next build will be like 14900K, 5090, DDR4, all that stuff next year. And I would be selling this one to help fund the next one. A few more comments. We'll probably start winding down here a little bit soon. I can feel my voice starting to go, and I definitely want some chill time before going to bed tonight. Hamza, how good are the Revelation shares? Check them out on AudioVice. So I think they're fantastic. I really like them. My review video, first take, I think summed up a lot of my thoughts and gave a pretty detailed overview all about them. I think they're super comfortable. I love sitting up higher, having like a full profile home theater seat rather than something low profile. I think it lets me address my screen and feel more comfortable sitting in there. Footrest, lumbar and headrest is an excellent combination. I definitely um, wouldn't want a seat without lumbar. Being able to add that support, I think, helps a lot. Um, yeah, I'm ecstatic. That as much as the audio performance in the 90 is another reason that I want to use the theater even more and more, because it's just so comfortable to sit down there. It changed the whole character of the room, and it really feels more theater now, and I like that. Um, that there's the vibe when you walk in there, and the presentation of the space and all that stuff. Um, I think is great. So it's only been a few months, so longevity, reliability over time. I don't have any reason to doubt that they're not going to hold up. Material and all that stuff should be fine. I still haven't gone shopping for more attachments. Need to do a little bit of attachment shopping, like tablet holder, maybe some other things like that. um, but yeah, I dig it. I absolutely love having the chairs. I can't recommend them enough. Let's see. Oprah saying Astro has a splitter for HDMI and PC port. Yeah, still my problem with it is, although actually I wonder. So I don't want to digress too much down the tangent, but my challenge is like, if it wouldn't be a big deal to run the computer like in the basement through the 90 and zone to it to the living room. But I've proven now time and again that Xbox controller reliability is not good enough to have the PC be in the basement and play with the controllers in the living room. It doesn't, they don't stay connected. So I've got to like put the PC somewhere where I could wire to both rooms and do a multi-monitor output. Ideally, that's not a splitter, because again, there's very different video capabilities between both rooms. Or what I was telling my son today is like, maybe what I need to do in order to do that is um, not have the not take advantage of the OLED, meaning don't run 120 FPS and don't run with VRR turned on. Disable that stuff, and then I could run one output, split it to both the projector and to the theater and to the living room, but I would be stuck at 60 FPS, which isn't all bad. Um, you know, max some games out anyway, and you might not really be getting more than 60 even on a 4090, depending on the game. But that could be a way to go. And all I really need to do that is figure out again a place to put the PC and the right HDMI wiring. So a splitter could be the way to go, because then also too that carries audio to both zones. Because the one thing with like PC, if you do a graphics card and you take, even if your graphics card, you buy an Asus, it's got two HDMI 2.1 ports. You run one to one zone, you want to run to another zone directly. You can only have audio go to one of those at a time. You can't have the audio go to both zones, at least in terms of my experimenting. So yeah, we'll see. Rob, welcome, Rob. Yeah, yeah, we're almost 2 hours here. We'll probably call it around the 2 hour mark. Get through some of these last comments and then call it a night here. Yeah, 77-inch OLED in the living room. Yep, older OLED in the office. Nice. PS5 barely used, honestly. Yeah, mostly PC gamers. Game fidelity, game preservation, historical access. There's a lot of reasons to love the PC for gaming for sure. Alex saying 69 screen in the home theater, play PC on a 32-inch monitor. I did game for a while here, sitting in the office right now, of course. There was a stretch of time where my computing PC and my gaming PC were the same. I had it in here, and I'm looking right now at a 43-inch Sony X800, I think this is, that I use as my monitor. I got my MacBook down in front of it, and then it's in front of the bigger screen. But I was gaming right here and 43 inches at this distance is very immersive. But the audio is not the same in here, and I don't have a really good facility to set up a good audio system. And I just can't sit here much longer with COVID times and work from home and spending in the channel. Like I spend a lot of time sitting here. I wouldn't want to sit here more for hobby time, so I got to go somewhere else. Oprah Perlison S setup 522. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, Sony 900. Oh god, the Sony, yeah, the 900. I sold it to a friend of mine. Not it met his needs for what he was playing, but they advertised all of that HDMI 2.1 stuff, and it didn't come to fruition. Yeah, that was a bummer. One of the best examples of failure to deliver on features, and don't buy don't buy something for what it's supposed to do in a future firmware update. Buy it for what it does right now, and you never have to worry about not getting those features delivered to you. Julius, think you'll ever get butt kickers for your new chairs? I don't think so. It was funny actually. So Brian, Hi-Fi Home Theater YouTube channel, when he was over the other Sunday night, so he bought my couch actually. So the Kivik, the IKEA that was in the theater room before, he bought it, and we moved it over to his place when the revelations came, and he actually just put shakers on the couch. So I'm curious to go over to his house and experience it. I felt some shakers at some places, but honestly, like to me, I feel I get a lot of tactile as it is, especially now with the 4 subwoofers, and the idea that like my basement is cement slab, underlayment, floating wood floor, pad carpet. That floating wood floor, I think, really carries the vibration. Whereas if we didn't have that and we just had cement slab and carpet, that the cement doesn't move, right? The slab's not going to move, but that wood carries, I think, some of that feel. And so like I get pretty giddy with like, wow, like I like it. Like I can feel this, I can feel the seat moving under, I can feel the bass, I can hear the bass, and I can feel the seat moving with some tactile. And I asked him, like, Brian, I'm like, how do you feel about the tactile here versus the shakers? Like, well, it's not the same. Okay, that's completely fair. But like I think it's still plenty good for me. And honestly, I don't think the family would want it. So I'd end up spending a bunch of money. I'd add more complexity to my setup, and you'd have to deal with more bass outputs. You need more, and now I've got this perfect setup: ABM 90, 4 subwoofers, right, all being discreetly managed in Anthem Arc and all that stuff. As soon as I add shakers, I complicate the system in a way that I don't know that I necessarily want to deal with. That signal's got to go through. Um, and honestly, I think the family would be turning them down or off, particularly my wife. So I don't know. I don't think it's worth it for me. Um, with the logistics of my space and the way it performs right now, I'm pretty happy with it. In fact, I've done a number of theater demos for folks, and usually they're asking me if I have them or if I have them. Like, do you have shakers in here? Like, nope. So again, it's not the same. And I'm curious to go over to Brian's and hopefully maybe going into the end of the year, there's some more Michigan meetups and stuff, because there's some other guys around the area that have them, or folks around the area that have them. But yeah, that's my answer on that, I guess. Never say never, but Edward, the HDMI 2.1 debacle is so embarrassing. It's weird how people just accept it. Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. So, yeah, I don't know. So stay tuned. I guess will I be making a trip to the store? The downside is, and actually probably works in my favor right now, is I definitely don't need disc PS5s. I would buy digital editions, and you can't get them. So in the wake of the PS5 Slim announcement, there are no PS5 digital editions available pretty much anywhere right now. So the stores are all out of stock. You can't buy them online. Amazon doesn't have them for whatever reason. they sold through the digitals before the disc versions. But I can go to Best Buy, Target, Walmart. I think all these stores around here have plenty of Xbox Series X's and PS5 disc models right now. But the Slim is coming in a matter of 2 weeks or so, hopefully early November versus late November. But Spider-Man comes out on the 20th. So what marketing genius decided to put the biggest game, right, of the year probably, coming to the platform exclusive, and then have your awesome new hardware revision that people will be looking for and excited about buying, and people that haven't bought a PS5 yet and say, "Oh, okay, I'm finally going to get one with the Spider-Man game," go to the store and they're not there. So the game comes out, all the hubbub and positive sentiment about the game, and you don't have the new hardware sitting there available to buy is like asinine to me. Why did you do that? Either delay the game to coincide this stuff, right? Get those new hardware, those hot new hardware boxes in the stores either the same day or a week before or something before that game ships. Or like if they were going to do the game on a Friday, get those consoles in those stores on Tuesday. So like I kind of don't want to go buy $500 disc editions because I'm never going to use the disc drive. And if I'm going to buy it, I might as well get the latest, greatest revision, which comes with a little more SSD storage inside it. If nothing else, that's a little bit of a bonus. And then they raised the price though. Anyway, the new digital edition is 350, 450, not 400. But still, why waste $100 buying disc editions? So I'm a little bit bummed by that. So I would be inclined, if nothing else, if I really cave or make the switch, I probably still wait until I get a hold of the slim model digital editions. So we'll see what happens there, I guess. Stay tuned. But my son and I, we're halfway through Lego Batman, that 2008 one. So, and that's not even available on PlayStation anymore. The earliest, there's been 3 Lego Batmans, and only number 3 is actually playable, purchasable in the PS5 in the PlayStation Digital Store. Lego Batman 1 and 2, I think, are either out of service, too old, or they're stuck over in like maybe the streaming PS5 services side of things, which certainly will look nowhere like what they look and perform like on the PC. So we'll see. Lots of debate. So we'll wrap it up here. Couple closing items. Oh, I forgot about this comment. Sorry, I started this one too. Hamza, if you heard of Christie projectors, I have. I've actually seen one. Here in mid Michigan ish is a residential installation of a Christie Eclipse. MSRP, I think, actually one of the models that's well over 150K. Pretty wild, but yeah, I've seen it. Been to that guy's theater, and they're wild. It's so bright. It's so bright. If you have the means, you can have a commercial level theater with a Christie. Pretty awesome. Barco's another one that's I think is getting more chatter lately as another echelon of brand. You know, Barco is to JVC and Sony, I guess, what Trinoff is to Anthem and Arkham and everybody else. So Edward asking real quick before you go, I feel like JVC is hard to beat. I agree. I mean, JVC and Sony are battling it out. Epson's in the ring too, but Epson kind of exists at a little bit less of a premium price point and gives up a few technical aspects to them. But for my money, I would be a JVC buyer. That's what I've owned in my theater. And if I had my druthers, if I were to buy a projector today, it would be an NZ, ideally an NZ9. More than likely, I'll probably end up waiting 2024 Cedia for the NZ9 successor, and that'll be my goal projector. And to do anything more than that, I mean, now we're talking about $50,000, $60,000, $80,000 projectors. So in many ways, where I see like Anthem, that AVM 90 is kind of like the pinnacle of what I would feel I need in a theater setup. The JVC is kind of probably there also for a projector. Now, who knows? Hit the lotto. 10 years down the road, who knows what financial situation I'll be in, stuff like that. But um, for now, speaking for myself and my money right now, like yeah, JVC is the top to me and what I would recommend. All right, so yeah, stay tuned. There'll be more content coming. We'll be talking more about making some content around the SVSs. We got the 90, got the amps coming, or amp coming at least to start. Those Parasounds are for sale. If you're watching this and you're interested, more than happy to make a good deal, especially if somebody wants the full stack, and even better if you can come pick them up. But I am willing to ship, willing to deal a bit. I'm not under any impetus though, so keep in mind I'm not fire sailing them. I don't have to take a lowball offer. They're awesomely incredible, amazing amplifiers, and I can sit pretty with them in my theater for a good while to come. So I'm prepared to offer a great price and a good deal, but I'm not going to just let them go for a silly offer. And when they sell, then we'll go from there. I kind of like, actually, though, it worked out to just buy one amp and experiment with that and feel fully justified and committed to moving into more of them. So stay tuned. We'll see what that is. We'll see what happens with this gaming decision, and more coming up. So I think that's it. We'll call it here. Awesome discussion. Lots of folks on the stream tonight. I appreciate everybody coming out, spending your evening with me. Hopefully we had some fun. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to have everything comes together next Wednesday night, 9:00. You want to come really see the nuts and bolts and details about Anthem Arc, and all that stuff. That's what hopefully we will be talking about if my plan comes together. Love it when a plan comes together. So thanks so much, everybody. Had a great time. Good night. And we'll see you soon. Coming back for more home theater discussion and fun.